Hi, my name is Noshad, so I'm going to Shaban, Spurs video podcast. Obviously, news of Luka basically refusing to go on tour with the squad to the US has probably made a lot of the headlines, and it is worrying. I'm backing Levy on this. The reason is, first of all, it's a precedent. Forget the player contracts and the morality and all that kind of stuff and loyalty. If this happens with Luka, what's stopping to happen with Bale, Sandro, whoever else, another, what's the point of having a contract if we don't make players enforce these contracts? Okay? It's a worrying precedent, and at some point, the balance between the power between club and player, can't be breached. It's already going in one direction anyway. We have to, at Tottenham, look at, and look, Chelsea could afford it of Mutu. I mean, let's face it, Mourinho never liked him anyway, so, the cocaine thing was probably like a blessing in disguise for him. But the Tevez, again, Aguero did come in, and he was chosen. He was constantly being chosen over Tevez anyway, so it wasn't as big of a loss. And plus, they could eat your loss. Both Chelsea and Man City are backed by wealthy benefactors. They can eat such losses. We can't, and especially when it comes to attracting players, And I honestly do feel that it sets a bad precedent. What I would like to see is Tom Carroll, who I've mentioned, a lot of guys say he failed in the Championship. The kid scored in his debut. The kid has shown the ability to handle pressure, taking that penalty against Stoke after 120 minutes. He had to, when senior players like Pav missed penalty, he stepped up and took a penalty, And I've seen a bit of Luka in terms of his confidence, that little Luka shuffle that he does. Why couldn't he take a step up? I don't think it's asking a lot for him to take a step up so soon, especially in the Premier League. But if he has a great pre-season, why can't he, go on to do to another EPL club? I mean, for example, Swansea could lose Joe Allen. They've got £50 million in the bank, but let's face it, they're always going to find it hard to attract players, just purely because of the wages that they can offer, and the fact that they're in second season syndrome. They've lost their manager. They're just going to find it hard to attract players. I think if they do lose Allen, Carroll is a pretty good replacement. I think we've got a good existing relationship with them, and obviously, although Michael Laudrup will have his own ideas of how to play with Swansea, he will look to evolve rather than do evolution rather than revolution, and I think he'll look to keep a similar kind of system really that they had. Obviously, they've lost Sigurdsson. And obviously he lost Allen, so they're going to have to replace Sigurdsson's goals, and his goal threat as well. But you never know. Can he do it? We'll find out. I think Tom Carroll, if he has a very good, plays well against New York, Liverpool, and LA Galaxy. But these are friendlies. They're meaningless. And say what we want about the MLS, and obviously Liverpool won't be playing their toughest team out there. But if he shows that double pivot, he demands the ball, he shows desire to take play and get, importantly, with the day doctors we have, does he get the ball moving forward? Does he create chances? Does he create the chance before the assist kind of thing? Then, sending him out to the Premier, because in Championship, a lot of players struggle because it is a lot of kicking, and it's not as technical as it is in the Premiership. It's a completely different ball game. You can be a success in the Championship. Doesn't mean you'll be success in the Premiership. Just as if you can be successful in the Premiership, but you go in the Championship, it's a completely different game. These are players getting kicked around, and it's a lot more competitive, I would say, in the Championship than it is in, say, the Premiership. And plus, it's a very different style of football. It's a lot, there will be a lot more Route One kind of football because just because the sheer golf and monies that are offered. You can get away with playing that kind of Route 1 football because when you go up to, say, the old First Division, there wasn't such a huge gulf. But now, because of the huge gulf between the Premiership and the Championship, it's so difficult. Even if you do well, there's no chance that you will go do well. Just because you poor in Championship doesn't mean you'll do poor in the Premiership, so to speak. Gonna give my shouts out. To Tomst and Eggsy, and to my mate Jerry McConnell and John Forsyth, who've been fantastic, and another mate of mine, James Gregory, who, although not a Spurs fan, doesn't even like football, has been a real rock for me the last few days. So have many people. Sorry if I'm a bit emaciated, but and I'm not talking coherently because I haven't eaten since 3 o'clock this morning. But Ramadan, so do my best I can to keep it on the weekends. But yeah, I like to think, and I'm sorry that Luka Modric has done this. I mean, what worries me a little bit is that I've seen some on the Spurs Forum, UK. There's been some really horrible stuff being said about him, and I can understand that people react, and they feel hurt and they feel betrayed, and they're reacting really badly. I don't, I can understand what they're doing, but some of the stuff that's been said is way OTT. Luka Modric is doing what's best for himself, and I can understand that. Levy is doing what's best for the club. The club is his interests, and he's got to do what's best for the club. And you know what? I'm just surprised that Real Madrid won't fork out the extra 10 million or whatever. This is Real Madrid we're talking about. Yeah, I'd understand it if it was, say, I don't know, Aston Villa or something. But this is Real Madrid, one of the richest clubs in the world. You're telling me they can't afford it? And that's the same thing with Barcelona. What, they can afford to pay the extra 5 million or so it was that Arsenal were demanding? The way I look at it, he has to afford a transfer request, because if he gets sold, 10% will go to him. Unless he affords a transfer request, then obviously we get that 3.5 million. 35 million. We need to. I thought what Levy's saying, because look, rot in the reserves. I think he's learned from the Berbatov saga that you need to have a replacement in place. I'm not saying Hudson will be a replacement. I'm not saying that Carroll will be that replacement, but see no danger ahead. And in the case of rot. It will come to that. And then maybe it comes January again. No, because at the end of the day, you're a professional. You have a contract, and if you can't do that, what's stopping you doing Real Madrid? I don't know who's bigger than Real Madrid. Probably no one. So the precedent doesn't stand. But the way I look at it, if you're willing to do this to your club, what's stopping you do this again? What's saying I'm going to go and strike because you're not playing me or something? I would be worried if I was Jose Mourinho, because Jose Mourinho demands team spirit. He demands players that will pay for the club and for him. Obviously, and if he's done his debt to his teammate, that's an insult not only to the club but to his teammates as well when you refuse to train. So I personally feel that, look, whether Luka Modric stays or goes, I don't know. I'm hoping he still does stay, especially if we don't get a replacement and we don't get value for him. I'm just saying that I think Tom Carroll can make the step up. I think Tom Carroll can Tom Brady. He's mobile. He's 5'6", 5'7". Tom Huddleston, I don't think can do a step up. I don't think he can do the Luka Modric role, but I think he can do the Alonso. He's got the same height and build. Maybe not as mobile, but he's 2-footed. He needs to start showing it. He needs to start showing the daring, and the fact that we've got mobile runners. Sigurdsson, Lennon, Bale, and if you've got a spearhead such as Adebayor, who knows, even a Berbatov, we may be able to, absorb the loss of Modric. Who knows? Anyway, as always, I'm always enjoying chatting to you. Please feel free to post any comments on my YouTube video or on Spurs Forum.uk, and please click on the ad links if Google decides to set them up. And yeah, as always, come on, you Spurs.